Hello, good morning. This is a update on the Mueller report. It's Sunday, and I'm quite sure you're going to be watching many of the Sunday shows. But I want to encapsulate something that people are going to be disappointed. Uh, the number one thing is that the Mueller investigation has been very much of a success. They've had over 30 persons charged. They've collected lots of money as far as uh, uh, the money they've gotten from Manafort and others, millions of dollars. In fact, they're in the black as far as the investigation is going because they have collected more money, or they have potential of collecting more money than actually the expense of the investigation. Now, the primary reason for the investigation was to investigate the role that the Russians played in the 2016 election. And as far as that's concerned, that was really settled before Mueller even came to be part of the special counsel, because the intelligence community had said that that's a given, that they were involved, and no one disbelieves that except for Donald Trump. So hopefully he will come to his senses once the report comes out. But this is the part that people don't understand, is that, and I'm quite sure it's been reiterated if you haven't already heard, that you don't indict a sitting president. And that's a Department of Justice ruling, although that too can change. So I would not be expecting anything to come out of the review, whether it's executive summary or the full report, about Donald Trump at all, because of those rulings, that the own guidance of the Department of Justice. So you're not going to see anything about Donald Trump. There are going to be things all around the edges. And I'm old enough to remember the Iran-Contra, the Kenneth Starr, and even the Nixon special counsels. So I want to tell people that just because the those special counsels lasted many more years. This is only 2 years. As far as special counsel is concerned, this is a baby thing. I think Iran Contra was maybe 7 years, and the Kenneth Starr investigation of Clinton's was only 4 years. Much of what we know about Donald Trump is already in the air. The only thing we don't know are two things, and that the report is not going to tell us. One thing is, what's Donald Trump's real financial condition, and does that have anything to do with his attitude toward the Russians? And specifically me, I cannot understand how he acts toward Russia and other dictators like Kim Jong-un, the Philippine Duarte, the Filipino, the Brazilian president. It won't explain his behavior. We are not psychiatrists. So don't be too disappointed. Now, the wise thing about this is that, about Mueller, is he is so well respected that whatever comes out of that, it is not going to be talked down except for by Donald Trump. People didn't pay attention to one thing on the news. They talked about how in the last couple of days that the members of the families of the staff were coming to visit them. So that means they're really working around the clock. Or they were working around the clock. Also, that they were carrying out boxes. Now, true to Mueller's form, he usually farms out a lot of the work. And I think he's doing that as a protection. It's just like that little Greek mythological monster that has all these heads and hands feeling around. Um, Donald Trump may try to fire maybe some U.S. attorneys around the country. But since Mueller is farming out a lot of these things, I entirely expect, and I guess everyone expected, that Ivanka, Jared, Don Jr., maybe Eric, there might be some indictments for them. Now, don't, because there's nothing in this report, don't think there aren't going to be any coming indictments. There can be sealed indictments. Mueller is a very smart man, and this is going to go on for a long, long time. Congress, which is in the hands of Democrats, will be able to investigate. There's going to be a fight to get the underlying documents from the Mueller's report. And I see no reason that Barr and other people at the Justice Department would stop that. So it's March 24th. They had to let this out because they don't want to interfere with the 2020 election. And don't forget, all of these people that are involved are all Republicans. The ones that Donald Trump embarrassed, the deputy director, Mueller, all of these people are Republicans. So they have no axe to grind. It's not political. So we should see. And this is a test. This was my first broadcast on using YouTube. So I'm hoping that it works out very well, because I think we're going to have some very interesting times. As far as the news is concerned, there are not going to be the leaks that we've seen before, although it's going to be highly unlikely with so much in the air that there won't be any once this report goes to Congress, because Congress will leak lists like crazy. And I'm quite sure that Mueller has made it so his people will be insulated from this. And remember, if Donald Trump does fire any of these U.S. attorneys that are investigating him and his family, that's going to cause a constitutional crisis. So I think this is going to be Trump and company, who operate, this is my opinion, as a criminal enterprise, will not be able to sleep at night. Now they may call this a victory, but U.S. attorneys in the United States, including the District of Columbia, will have handcuffs waiting for Donald, Eric, Don Jr., Ivanka, and anybody else that's involved the day that Donald Trump is no longer president of the United States. So let's see. This is going to go live in about 15 minutes at 7:45. So I'm hoping to see many of your comments and see if we can do this as a Sunday blast.